Hello everyone and welcome to D&D News. I am Greg Tito and I'm beaming at you directly from the Wizards of the Coast office here in sunny, it is sunny although it's pretty cold, Renton, Washington. Hi, how's everybody doing? Very happy to be here to sip delicious coffee out of large mugs with y'all, wearing D&D t-shirts, sweatshirts with the tag still on for you. And this is perfect weather for this type of a sweatshirt, isn't it? Isn't it? It's good. It's good for you, and I enjoy it. Yes. Hi, Ref Gemlin. Good to see you. Hi, Obo. How are you? What's up, TK? Hanselman, making it happen. Glad to see everybody in here today. No, we're not in the news studio yet. I just gave somebody some crap for that. I was like, oh, wasn't that supposed to happen a few weeks ago? It has not yet happened. I was told it's happening soon. So, good. In fact, I saw some folks moving in and out of here with lights and whatnot. So maybe it is happening sooner rather than later. Hi, why were Nywin? Why were Nywin? Good to see you. Very, very happy to be here. I appreciate that everyone loves this mug. You shall all have one day in the future times. Happy Tyranny of Dragons week later release date, huh? So yeah, this is flying off the shelves at your local game store right now. Tyranny of Dragons. It's got 2 adventures for the price of one book. When 5th edition was first released with the Tyranny of Dragons storyline, it had 2 volumes. One was Rise of Tiamat, the other was Hoard of the Dragon Queen. I, with my friends in North Carolina, was playing through Hoard of the Dragon Queen. I don't think we made it through to any of the content in Rise of Tiamat, but fun note, I'm getting back together with a lot of that crew to continue the storyline. We'll probably do it offline with some, well, we'll be using some online tools because many of them are still back east, but very excited to reunite with a bunch of my friends from North Carolina and play through some more of this story, and I hope a lot more people are doing that. It's 5 years of 5E. We've been using that as the hashtag for everyone to celebrate what it's been like, a whirlwind, really, of the last 5 years for this edition. 45 years since Dungeons & Dragons came out. There's some great synergy between 5 and 45. Pretty neat. 10 and 50 is going to be even more fun in 5 more years. And I'm excited to be here in 5 years, probably in this same studio since it won't be moved. But, you know, you never know. It'll be really good. What are your favorite stories and moments, not just from the Tyranny of Dragons, although, God, this back image looks so good in the light with it shining off of it right there. Important bit for anybody here who can translate this in Draconic. Let me know what it says. I mean, I know what it says, but if you let me know, maybe I'll give you a mug. So yeah, tell me what that is in Draconic on the back, and I'll verify it over Twitter, and I'll send a mug to you. You know, why not? I'm committed to that. Make it happen. But yeah, the 5 years have been a really, really great time for the brand and for Dungeons & Dragons playing in general. I don't think even, me coming into this job about 5 years ago would have realized that we'd be on this trajectory of, I don't know, dare I say, mainstream acceptance, if not, widespread popularity of this hobby. It's been a crazy climb towards the top, and I realize now that there's so many more people who have gotten into the game just in the last few years who may not have played any of the content in Tyranny of Dragons and been able to contend against the Lady of Tiamat. And so perfect time to pick this up in your local game store and play through some of this. It's really the only adventure that showcases dragons as much as it can. There's been a few dragon characters in other adventures that we put out for 5th edition. Maybe Imrith might be one of the strongest ones from the Storm King's Thunder storyline. But if you love dragons, you can't go wrong with picking up Tyranny and jumping into that storyline. You'll be contending against a whole lot of them from the get-go. So, not only is that book out, but Descent into Avernus is popping up all over. We'll go into more about that storyline and how it is being portrayed in the Adventurers League very soon. We'll be talking about that after the break, around 3. I call it the break, but it really is when we start watching D&D Rewind around 3:30. But yeah, we'll go into Adventurers League news as well as what's happening in the Dungeon Masters Guild. And then I'm going to show off some crazy fun products that I got here in my hand that were sent to us. This one might make some of you even crazier. But I'll show off those a little bit in more detail and hopefully tell you where you can get them, although I'm not really sure about that last mug that I just glimpsed up there too. So yeah, Baldur's Gate Descent into Avernus is out there. We've talked about that a bunch. But what is coming up is, well, actually, no, before I even get to that, these are out now. But Rick and Morty versus Dungeons & Dragons 2 has been out in comic book stores all over the world. You can pick these up. These are a bunch of variant covers that we just got in that I wanted to show off. I wish there was an easy way to see who the cover artist is for these ones, but there's just cover credits by a whole bunch of people, and they don't tell you exactly which one this one is. So hard to do it for each one, but you can all look them up. They're all wonderful artists in their own right. I see Cynthia Shepard is in there. I wonder if that's the same. It must be the same Cynthia Shepard that works here at Wizards of the Coast. But that's really cool. But there's this image. This is one of the variant covers you might be able to find. Here is another. These are all for the first volume in the 4-issue series. This is a new series from last year. Last year we did a story that was written by Jim Zub and I was going to say Laszlo Holyfeld, but that's not his name. His name is Patrick Rothfuss. I don't know why Laszlo Holyfeld popped into my brain, but, you know, there we are. And this is a new story, chapter 2, called The Painscape, that is written by Jim Zub and designed by Troy Little as well for all the artwork on the interior art. I'm showing all these all alternate covers because I think they all look really cool. Here is a great one. I wish more of these were available in other forms. Including in a poster. I would definitely get this one in a poster. I really like that one. This one's got the black and white thing going on. This is certainly a callback to the cover for Dungeon of the Mad Mage, the book that came out last year. Hella cool is this one. Did I just use the word hella in a sentence? This one is the colorized version of that cover. Pretty neat looking. I wish my lower eyelids were as big as those guys. In fact, well, maybe careful what you wish for. I think that actually is happening to me as I get older. Anyway, this one's cool. I'm Beholder Rick. My eye stalks are juicy. That's not what he sounds like at all, but I'm going for it, right? Yeah, thank you, Jack. You're going. Well, oh, see, Laszlo. You're not even getting the full reference, are you? You are, right, Jack? It's not from a band from early 2000s. I'll give you a hint. It's from much earlier than that. And I'll give a mug to anyone in chat who can tell me who the character Laszlo Holyfeld is from. Anybody? Yeah, I bet. Yeah, I'll give you a mug for sure. So this is I like this one too with a little bit even more traditional hero artwork for the cover of this number 1 here. There you go. All right, good, Jack. You got it. All right, so you already have a mug, so I'm not going to give you another mug. But dang, you was right. I like this one because there's no trade dress in this. Just it in all of its glory. This is an IDW limited exclusive cover, as I can read here on the back. It's by Julia Scott. This one has a credit on it. Ooh, but I like this one a lot too. Actually, kind of looks like me if I had horns. So cool. Pick these up. I believe issue 2 of this storyline is available now. So you should go to your comic book store or anywhere you can get comic in their issues form and see if you can get some of these variant covers. Some of them are event exclusives. I think that some of them were PAX West and New York Comic Con exclusive. In fact, one of these was blank. I remember seeing a whole bunch of drawings of people did on the fly. Jim Zub and Troy Little did with 2 people who came up to their booth and they drew in specific adventures or covers for fans who came up to them at their booth at the IDW booth at New York Comic Con. So lots of fun stuff. Event, like I said, if you want some of those, you got to start hunting for them because, like I said, some of those covers are the amazingness. All right. I want to make sure you were all aware that that's not the only Rick and Morty centric Dungeons and Dragons product that's coming out. We also have, I'm going to get the name of it completely wrong. It's Dungeons and Dragons versus, where is it? Why is it not in there? It's Dungeons and Dragons versus Rick and Morty Tabletop Role-Playing Game Adventure. That is a box set. It's coming out November 19th. It has everything you need to play D&D in a Rick and Morty flavored world. We've been doing preview events in LA, in New York. We're going to be doing another one in San Francisco with our friends at IGN. It is a super cool way to play Dungeons and Dragons that's a little bit more accessible for not just fans of Rick and Morty, but for people who want that specific silly, satirical flavor while they're playing. A lot of people use that in their home games anyway, and here's a great way to bring that to the forefront. And the writers and designers and everyone who's been involved in this just has had a bang-up time. Each time they've played it, it's ended in happy laughter tears. So I'm really hoping that fans find the same thing when it comes out on November 19th. It's going to be pretty exciting. So check your calendar for that. But also for Eberron, Rising from the Last War, coming out on November 19th. It's a crazy day. It's a red letter day here for Dungeons & Dragons. Many different flavors of D&D able for you to be playing them and experiencing them. Eberron is a cool, different setting than the Forgotten Realms, which is where we've been living for the last 5 years. I would describe it as a more modern industrial take on fantasy tropes. So while there's still wizards and dragons and prophecies and things like that, a lot of the themes that are being investigated throughout the story and setting of Eberron are those that you might have found in the early 20th century. So a lot of ideas about what it means to be alive, what is existence. There are the Warforged race that is fully statted up and available for play within the Eberron book that are essentially constructs that were given sentience, given life, and were forged for war. Huh? Picking up what I'm putting down? It was the last war, and it was a continent-spanning conflict that lasted 100 years, and there were many technological developments made throughout the course of this war, the Warforged being one of them. And at the end of this war, the conclusion of this war, an entire nation was laid waste and is now the Mournland. And the Warforged, some emigrated back into the Mournland to take it back over for themselves as their own nation. They follow a specific Warforged named the Lord of Blades, and there's an adventure in Eberron Rising from the Last War that details more about that character and how to contend against him. But as you can see from that, there's just all these more modern ideas and takes that feel like a mashup of pulp adventure tropes from the early 20th century, including what it's like to recover from a devastating world war. So I'm looking forward to that. It's obviously a very different flavor from the Rick and Morty box set, and you should be checking it out too. There will be an entire Adventurers League arc devoted to that Eberron storyline that will be self-contained. We talked about this a couple weeks ago on D&D News, and Lisa Penrose and Alan Patrick talked about it on Adventurers Wanted, about how it will have a beginning, a middle, and an end in their Adventurers League arc for Eberron, and that's really exciting too. So look into more information about that. I can't wait. All right. that is a lot of what's upcoming for Dungeons and Dragons. We have Extra Life breathing down our necks, though, which is a super exciting thing. It's the 7th year that D&D has participated in Extra Life. We've raised more than $500,000 for the kids, for the Children's Miracle Network. The hospital that we raise money for here in Seattle is the Seattle Children's Hospital, but you can nominate different hospitals within that network that your donation will go to. There's lots of ways that you can do it. You can head to our pages. Many of the D&D team has pages set up that you can donate towards. There are events and other streamed games planned over the next couple of weeks at GameholeCon in Wisconsin, as well as all over the world, raising money for the kids. I have my page up. You can donate to me and to my page, which will all go towards the kids, for ways that you can get on Dragon Talk or have me read aloud something on Dragon Talk, or maybe even on D&D News. I can certainly do that, and maybe I will. I'll add that to my page for folks to donate towards. I haven't really been wanting to delve too much into the physical fulfillment of stuff, so even though it's tempting to say donate X amount and you'll get one of these mugs, I like doing things that I can do in kind, and bring shine a light onto what is a message that you might want to bring to the table for in exchange for donating to the kids. So make that all happen if you can. There are also t-shirts that you can get from Custom Ink right now. There's lots of different designs made by Emi Tanji, one of our premier graphic design artists here on the D&D team. She does so much great work, and you should check out those if you're interested in getting some D&D apparel themed for Extra Life, as well as this Baldur's Gate Descent into Avernus. So there's a lot of great ways that you can get in there, as well as certificates. Many of the Adventurers League admins, including Chris Lindsay, Alan Patrick, and Greg Marks, Lisa Penrose, all of them have wonderful ways that you can donate to receive Adventurers League certs, as they're called, to be used in your games, and they're pretty cool. So it's really, really a great way to raise money for a good cause, and we hope you do. Dragon Plus is coming out with a new issue this week. If you have not yet downloaded Dragon Plus onto your Android or iOS phone, just do it now. It's worthwhile. It's completely free. There is content that comes out every 2 months that will knock your socks off. We're talking 20 to 30 different articles, talking about previews that are coming out of what's to come, in-depth profiles of artists, people who are doing amazing stuff. This issue 27 has a whole bunch of great stuff on it. Actually, it's 28 will be coming out very soon. So look into it while you can. There's really great stuff on there. You can access all of that content also on dragonmag.com on the web. A lot of the older issues are being rebuilt as we speak. There was just some updates to the back end, and it's taking a little bit of time to go through the old content and make it compatible with the new system. But once you do, you realize there's 28 issues worth of stuff that goes back basically to around Out of the Abyss era of 5th edition. So free maps, free TRPG content, like some content like feat. I don't think there's feats in there, but maybe items, some monsters, some other fun stuff peppered throughout there. But definitely a lot of maps and encounters that you can access in your game. So it's really worth it for all the good reasons. There's also been a lot of Unearthed Arcanas released lately. Those are our playtest documents. If you remember, D&D 5th edition used to be called D&D Next, and there was a playtest document that came out, it felt like every month, from the designers here, and we got tons of comments back from our fans, and we integrated directly into how 5th edition was formed. So in many ways, the 175,000 playtesters for D&D Next forged the way that 5th edition would be created going forward, and we have been continuing that process with these Unearthed Arcana articles. There are 3 recently, including the Bard and the Paladin, the Cleric, Druid, and Wizard, and the Fighter, Ranger, and Rogue out now with new subclasses that we need your feedback on. So download those PDFs, see if you can integrate them into your game, and then take the surveys to give us the feedback on what you think about them. And your feedback is so important for us realizing what works, what doesn't, and how we can improve upon what's already in there. So make it so. The dreaded Gug. Everyone misses Dungeon as well as Dragon, but you should check out Dragon Plus. There is a lot of spiritual successiveness in Dragon Plus from those old magazines. While it's definitely not a one-to-one of what it was like getting those delivered to you on a monthly basis, having it in digital form, it's a lot of what is there. So check it out if you haven't. It's been worth it. All right. I am going to say something extremely important. I didn't really get to the news. There is some news that came out even just today. Wizards of the Coast acquires Took Games. Did you guys see this? Many of the video game outlets have been talking about it today. We put out a statement that we have purchased a digital game development studio that's based in Montreal. Their name is Took Games, and they are working on a D&D game. Can't say anything else than that, but it is very exciting, and we are basically like gnashing at the teeth to be able to tell you what they're working on, but it will be coming out soon, what is happening, and it's really exciting. I mean, we remember the idea of so many digital video games out there based on Dungeons and Dragons, some of them good, some of them not so good. The good ones we have a kind of just soft spot in our heart for, and we are entering that new era again right now where there will be an explosion of Dungeons and Dragons video games out there, and I couldn't be happier as a person who's got a foot firmly in the tabletop RPG and board game world and a foot firmly in the digital video game world. I am happy to see Dungeons and Dragons straddle that line again. It's exciting. So get ready for the future. 2020 and beyond are going to be full of Dungeons and Dragons video games that will just bring more and more awareness to the wonders of playing tabletop Dungeons and Dragons. So it's going to be really neat, and this is just the first step along the way. The second one might be Baldur's Gate 3. That's coming out, being developed by our friends at Larian right now as we speak. And the next step might be what this studio in Montreal is working on called Took. So, and of course, don't forget, thank you for reminding me, Scar Shack. The Neverwinter MMO is going strong. It is a wonderful way to experience the wonders of lore in the Forgotten Realms. Its mechanics are very, action MMO like, so it's not quite one-to-one, but I really enjoy basically just being able to walk around locations that we are dramatizing in our adventures right now. Like, they've done pretty well at showing things like Barovia, the Mists. They went to Chult. There was a whole quest hub in Port Nyanzaru. They went to the Frozen North during the Storm King's Thunder era, and I believe they are going through some really fun stuff right now and making sure that game is even better. So Neverwinter, great MMO, still going strong, and we'll continue to support and develop even more fun stories for there. But there's great things afoot, and the recent release of games like Neverwinter Nights, which I see you guys referencing here, as well as Baldur's Gate 1 and 2, Icewind Dale, Planescape Torment. All those games are coming to consoles right now. You can play them right now on Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, and on the PlayStation 4. And that is bringing those games, some of them 2 decades old, to a whole new audience, as well as people who are jumping into it who haven't played those in years. I haven't been able to play it on the Switch yet myself. I have a Nintendo Switch, but I've heard from my friend at Polygon, Mr. Charlie Hall, that playing the Baldur's Gate, the Enhanced Edition made by our friends at Beamdog on the Nintendo Switch might be the best way to experience that game, which I would never have thought that would be a sentence that someone would say, that playing Baldur's Gate on a Nintendo product, let alone the Nintendo Switch, is the best way to play a game. But there it is. I can't speak to it myself, Ref Gemlin, but I've heard really, really good things about how it is. And as soon as I get through my move into my new house, and my house is not a adventure place filled with boxes stuff, I will be jumping in and I'll give you my hot 2-second review on that for sure. All right, I want to talk about a couple other things in the press before I move on to D&D Rewind. I'm a little bit behind. Being a little bit wordy is my, it's kind of what makes this D&D news show work. But our friend at Forbes wrote a 50-word review of Tyranny of Dragons. The 50-word review is pretty cool. Check it out if you can. But in its heart, it says, lots of new art to offer everyone a chance to face one of D&D's most feared antagonists. There's an even more in-depth review, more than the 50 words in this one, by our friend Rob Wieland. I believe the 50-word review was by, if I'm not mistaken, here, let me just check so I don't get it wrong. Yes, it was by David Ewalt. He has been doing the 50-word review kind of shtick, which I think is kind of neat. But Rob Wieland went in a little bit more in depth into what makes this Tyranny of Dragons thing cool. So check that out if you are interested in a more objective review than one that I can give, perhaps. It's really sweet. There's also a really cool article that was written by Nathan Grayson at Kotaku, or Kotaku. Tips for playing Dungeons & Dragons when you have social anxiety. This was just really interesting to read about because it echoes a lot of what we've been hearing from people who work in the mental health industry about how Dungeons & Dragons can be a wonderful tool for teaching all types of things, and dealing with lots of different syndromes and potential problems. But this was really cool. I'll just read this pull quote real quick. It's just about having fun with whatever the DM decides to throw at you. Don't be afraid to sacrifice portions of your carefully crafted backstory in favor of dumb fun. And the article goes on to talk about how you don't necessarily need to be on the entire time at a D&D session. You can be as into it or as vocal as you want, or you can pull back and let others kind of take the spotlight for a little while. And that is really, really heartening for someone who suffers from social anxiety. I experience it myself when I play. Sometimes I don't always enjoy the need, especially, it's a different thing when you're streaming. You always kind of have to feel like you're ready to give your best because you're creating an entertainment product beyond the love of just playing the game itself. But I always really enjoyed, if I was feeling down or just hadn't really gotten into the narrative of the game yet, to just sit back and listen and enjoy and experience it without any anxiety. And I think that's what Nathan Grayson's article is all about, and I think more people should read it. I think it's a really cool read. And finally, I just wanted to show off this really cool dice. This is so cool. I'm going to actually show the video for this playing because it needs to be moving. But I love the look of this dice, number one. And number two, gosh, look at how it sparkles. These are handmade dice, and I just love them. I keep seeing more and more really great looking dice out there, and it blows my mind how people are taking this dice industry to a new standard. I saw one that was like the devil or the demon's heartstring dice that I really want for my Descent into Avernus game. It's pretty awesome. So get into it if you can, or just pick up some of that dice. You always need more dice, right? All right, it is now time for a little thing I like to call D&D Rewind. This is the video where we highlight all of the awesome D&D roleplay moments that have happened here on twitch.tv D&D twitch.tv/D&D over the last week or so. And without any further introduction, I'm going to show you this week's D&D Rewind, courtesy of editor Steve Sprinkles. No audio. No audio again. I can hear it fine. Guess what? Pelham literally was like, "Hey, I think I've worked out all the kinks, but I guess not." I'm gonna text him real quick right now because he said text me if there was any problems. Let me see if he can help. Otherwise, I will do my trick of holding these headphones because I was definitely getting sound out of these. I might hold them up to the microphone again. Oh, no, here he comes. Yep. I'm not sure what happened.
Super weird.
We're on it, you guys. I'm just going to sip some coffee quietly while it all occurs. Let me know when you want me to push the buttons.
Will do.
Okay. Gith Yankee Warrior. What do you think? Who can paint this? This is from Gale Force 9. They will, you'll be able to see these in game stores pretty soon. This is an unpainted Gith Yankee Warrior that maybe you can make look like that. There's a lot of other cool ones. I really like this one. This is Durnan. I do like a Durnan. This is the pose he's in at the cover of Tales from the Yawning Portal, which is pretty darn cool. You ready to test it?
Ready to test it.
Okay. I will go through more of these after we do D&D Rewind, but here we're going to get a little test, all right? 1, 2, 3.
Obviously, I don't know if this is going to work.
How are you going to get wine out of the jug onto the sticky bit?
Well, that's what I'm trying.
You're sort of rolling around on the ground going,
well,
get
that's
the wine
why
over
it's going to be awkward. Is because it's like popping it open and then kind of wine, and then if one arm gets free, then okay, yeah, wine. I'm going to end up covered in wine.
You're covered in wine and you're also not free.
Which is also quite sticky.
On the plus side, wine. Is any of it going?
That is your action.
If there's any wine left, I'm going to drink some wine. Because I may as well. Because I have a whole gallon.
I understand, but it's kind of awkward.
Just open your mouth and roll around.
I lie down and I tip it into my mouth because all the ones nearby. I've got to make the best of a bad situation.
Fine by me. Monsoon has a drink.
Now give me a dexterity saving throw.
Yep. I got a 16.
Okay. You're able to grab the back of the seat of the other Devil's Ride as you are going along, but turns out the Mesoloth grabs the back of your hoof as well.
So now I'm like almost like dragging in the dirt, like holding on to the back of a car as a demon holds on to my leg.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you're dragging through the dirt a little bit. I'm actually going to deal you a little bit of keelhaul damage.
That seems entirely fair.
Take 6 bludgeoning as you hit the floor of the cavern over and over and over.
Oh, I was so wrong. How disappointing.
I don't understand what is happening.
I will message Constantina and say, I was really hoping it wouldn't come to this, but I overheard Vincentia telling Lady Elliot to make sure you did not reach the mainland.
I feel like Lady Elliot, like her hands were just pushing me a second ago, and I would like to turn around and stab her with my sickle. I knew I couldn't trust you, and I would like to attempt to shank her.
I would like to attempt to avoid being shanked.
Both of you roll me a d20 super quick so I can do a nice little initiative to see who acts first.
Yeah, he's gonna attack you.
He's going to bring it.
He's gonna get out of the horrible puddle of moonlight and step up here, and then he'll attack. Gets a 19.
Damn it.
You're like, it'd be like if Morpheus and Neo were fighting and Neo just punched Morpheus in the eye and he's like, ow! You take 9 bludgeoning damage.
Jeez, Louie. Oh, no.
Happy birthday to the ground.
Are you dead? I go unconscious.
Oh man, I love it.
See, that's why I forgot
and he
about
just
you
goons you in the head with the mace. And like you know this guy's mace is like it's the shape of it's like a black fist on a stick, and he just whap hits you in the head with it, and then you down I go.
Peeking inside, not a problem. It looks as if it is a warehouse, or the more you look at it, the more it looks like a gnomish factory. There's some benches with workbooks, there's bits of machinery, there's some crates and barrels, and a flickering torch illuminating the entire interior.
Where is the door?
Right underneath Nazia's character token.
Oh, yeah, now I see. Yeah.
Oop, sorry.
That's right.
Standing on doors, yeah.
So that is what you see inside.
Protected again.
Spiral made it yet?
You dear.
Oh, jeez, I forgot about Spiral. Oh, I'm gonna kill Spiral. Oh God. No, Lauren.
You do hear a call in a very not graceful griffin. Slowly
Or maybe
descends from the air.
incredibly graceful in his own
doing
way.
a weird spiral and does a skip, stop on the slippery
And it's
rocks, and also
fabulous.
eviscerates one of the clone Averins accidentally and starts wiping its claw onto the cliff.
Hail, Spiral. 'Tis good to see thee, my old friend.
Good stuff all around. I loved the miniatures that Ruben Bressler from the Broken Pact was showing off there. Were those Matchbox cars that were painted to look like Avernus Infernal War Machines? I hope so. I hope Spiral is not dead. That would be bad. And I vote for more shanking for everyone in the Tale from the Mist. The amount of surprise on everyone's face when Ashley decided to shank was precious, and that made my D&D rewind. So good job all around. I love D&D rewind because it highlights some of the best moments from the week on twitch.tv/DND. If you would like to get a favorite moment or something from your favorite show, one of the best ways to do that is while watching on Twitch. Make a clip. You can do that pretty easily within the Twitch interface. Once you have that clip linked, you can shoot it out on social media. Maybe tag some of the creators that are in that clip for maximum exposure, I guess that's the word. And our editor, the esteemed Steve Sprinkles, will see what rises to the top, see what gets the most views, and will use that as a guide. He does some editorializing as well, but he will use those as a way to get the best clips from the weekly shows going on there. So that's the way to do that there. I am going to move on to some fun Adventurers League news. You guys ready for that? What is the Adventurers League, you might ask? Well, it is D&D's official play campaign, which means that you can create a character in the Adventurers League, or AL as it is sometimes abbreviated, and take it to your local game store, a convention. In the bottom of this mug, you can play an event like this in a school, a church, a library, a convention center, wherever you may want to, and it will be received as part of the Adventurers League funness. there is some news that I want to talk about. One is the first adventures of the D&D Adventurers League Season 9 storyline are now available for the public on dmsguild.com. More on DM's Guild in a moment. Avernus Rising is a D&D Adventurers League campaign featuring the search for those Hellriders' souls that remain untarnished though they are trapped in Avernus nonetheless. Characters accompany a mysterious young girl into the hellscape on their quest and will be tempted to make any number of fiendish pacts and bargains before their mission is through. The first adventure, which has a code name for it, but it's basically 0901, which is the first episode of Season 9 of Adventurers League. Escape from Elturel is the name of this adventure, and it is a series of 4 one-hour intro adventures for first-level characters. The Betrayal is in the Blood trilogy is a series of 3 2 to 4 hour adventures for first to fourth level characters. And the streets of Baldur's Gate run red with blood. Dun dun dun! Very cool. I love how these adventures are great introductions to folks who may not have a lot of experience with playing Dungeons & Dragons, especially with playing Adventurers League. They are, just like they say, they're bite-sized, kind of one-shot adventures that you can use to introduce people into the story of Baldur's Gate Descent into Avernus. I think they are wonderful highlights of role-playing. They're not necessarily hack and slash kill, the bad guys type ones. A lot of them have to do with unlocking puzzles, working together as a team, and these series are I haven't actually read these, but I assume they are in the same vein of these introductory adventures for the start of a new season, and you should jump in and try them, even if you're not playing in a quote-unquote Adventurers League session, although you probably should do that. But they're great just for one-shots and being able to pick up at people and be like, hey, what do I play? I just need a quick adventure. You get these on the Dungeon Masters Guild and make it happen. All right, I want to show you some images from a recent Adventurers League event. This is from Quezon City in the Philippines. Our community has run newbie events where we run Tier 1 AL games for new players several times. It's like I was just talking about with the new players, see? We want to help you by maintaining and growing our player base. Our players are mostly professionals in the outsourcing sector of the Philippines and students who are likely to head there upon graduation. These are people who could grow to love and buy hardcover books, dice, and minis if they ever grow and choose to love AL so much. In my point of view, it's easier to do that by seeing 5e in one of its best forms, an epic. We are based in Quezon City, Philippines. It is a very populous city near the capital. We wish to help you leverage that to bring adventurers to people who love fantasy. That's awesome. I love that was done as a pitch to Wizards of the Coast in some ways. But you're already doing the work just by creating an event and letting people play. You don't need to tell us twice. That is exactly all you need to do in order to get people to love this game, is to introduce it and run it for them. So kudos to you, and I'm very excited to see these pictures of people playing D&D all over the world. And I am hopefully going to travel to a place like Quezon City in the Philippines and give you a high five in person. Way to make that happen. If you would like to send pictures into us. Sorry, my brain broke there for a second. Send photos of your AL group in action to community@dndadventurersleague.org. You can put in any message that you might want. It can be as long and interesting as the one that I just read from Quezon City in the Philippines, or it can just be a quick shout out, being like, hey, here's my group, here's what we did, here's thanks to Bob for bringing the Doritos. You can do it. Anything you're comfortable saying, we'll read it aloud and show it off to everyone here in the world on twitch.tv/DND. So make it happen. I love that these are coming in from all over the world. Happy to see ones from, the town over here in Washington State. So let me see them. I can't wait. Let's move on to the Dungeon Masters Guild. So I mentioned that earlier. Dungeon Masters Guild is the place that you can get all kinds of Dungeons & Dragons material. It is the only website that lets you publish your Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition creations for fun and profit. It's the only platform that you can use to publish adventures and supplements within the Forgotten Realms, Ravenloft, Ravnica, and other wizard settings using their heroes and more. It's also where you get all the Adventurers League content that I was talking about earlier. I believe all adventures going back to the beginning of 5th edition, so Season 1 of D&D Adventurers League, which... spoiler alert, has to do with the Tyranny of Dragons storyline. So jump into that if you're looking for older one-shots that you can do it. It's totally worthwhile to do it there. But what's happening right now, it is the last days of the Halloween sale and trick-or-treat promotion over on DM's Guild. And our last spooky adventure recommendation, are you ready for it? It's going to be coming. Check out The Haunt 3. Dun, 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 by Travis Legg and Phil Beckwith. The horrific finale to the multi-platinum best-selling and Dragon Plus magazine featured horror adventure series The Haunt. Carol Ann, a.k.a. the Evil Doll, I hope you're not watching, Pelham, has a momentary window of reprieve from her horrific damnation. She seeks heroes to undo the great evil that was placed upon her soul over a millennia ago and prevent the horror that followed. Do your heroes have the nerve to enter the space between and relive the terrifying events of the past? Do you? Disclaimer. This is a very important disclaimer. This will be a challenging and likely deadly adventure for 7th level player groups of 3 to 5 players, with some deadly encounters. However, ideally, The Haunt 3 is tailored as a medium difficulty adventure with plenty of excitement, horror, suspense, and surprise, and danger for an 8th level party of 4 to 5 players. Cover is attached. This is pretty scary looking, but I think we're okay. Another thing that you should know about is the Dungeon Masters Guild is sponsoring the RPG Writer Workshop. There are days left to register. Want to write your first D&D adventure is the pitch? Join the RPG Writers Workshop. Access lessons designed by the pros and learn about the writing process from ideation to publication. They partner with Dungeon Masters Guild to offer a special DM's Guild path, which comes with the Aspects of Time Design Assets Kit by Meshan Cantrell. Sign up for a free or premium path of the Fall-Winter Workshop at www. Does anyone say www anymore? .rpgwriterworkshop.com, and this workshop begins on November 1st, so your registration ends on Halloween. That's not ominous at all. But I love this idea of getting a workshop together for people with experts, people who have published lots of RPG content in the past, and kind of learning people up. You know, you think about all of the creative writers out there that were nurtured and mentored by the professors and other people who were published at the time, and this is kind of just that same idea. I just don't think this type of a program was possible, 20, 25 years ago. It was, still a kind of a niche thing, but now with so many people wanting to jump in and the amazing opportunities that you have on the Dungeon Masters Guild to publish your own work and get it, be a source of income to you is really cool. So make it happen. If you've got any interest in writing for Dungeons and Dragons as well as for the Dungeon Masters Guild, you could do a lot worse than joining this writer's workshop. So check it out, people. All right, I have a whole bunch of fun stuff that I didn't get a chance to show you. So here I'm going to show you. This is again from Gale Force 9. They have these collectors series where they do unpainted minis. Here's a one version you can have of Silvira Savicus and her Quasit. This is a character that you might encounter in Baldur's Gate: Descent into Avernus. Pretty neat. Here's what it looks like unpainted. But it comes in this box, as you can tell, and you snap it together, and then you can paint it to your to however you want. For the pet owners out there, here's Lulu and Slobber Chops. Lulu is of course the Hollyphant, a once companion of Zariel, the current archdevil in charge of the plane of Avernus in Hell, or the lair of Avernus in the Nine Hells. And Slobber Chops is a Tressum, a mean-looking Tressum, as it says on the back of here in this text. You can totally paint those to your heart's content. Hey, wait a second. Who is that? Is that a Lich? Yeah, I think it is. I think it is a Lich. This is Ezit the Lich, I guess. But is that the Lich? Damn it! I did this way better back in my office. They are coming soon to stores everywhere, and then of course here's a larger a mini of Zerial. How you can make it look is up to you. You can't really tell the kind of 3D nature of where that hammer is, but this picture does show you that the hammer is being pointed out straight. And also kind of very similar to the grasping nature of the cover art of Baldur's Gate Descent into Avernus by Tyler Jacobson. So check these out. I want to see. I was talking about the unpainted Kraken mini last week. I want to see everybody paint these and show them off to me. If you tag me in on Twitter, I will retweet the crap out of them. So make it happen if you can. I know there's some good painters out there. I love to see it. So make it happen. All right, I promise one more final thing from our friends at WizKids. If you follow them on Twitter, you might have seen them talk about this, but I saw these. Actually, the person who gets these shipments or runs the licensing for all of our physical goods is not in. She's on vacation this week, so I saw the box and I nabbed it from her so I can show this off to you guys. But it is. I'm going to open it up first so you don't kind of know it from the packaging. Here's something that you need in every D&D game. That is a stalactite. T is on the ground, right? One of you tell me. I'm sure you guys know. I want to leave that right there so that it looks gross. No, sorry, it won't. It would fit. Yes, Alpha Stream. I see you, Teos. It is, of course, the Elder Brain. Here are 2 stalactites. Here is one that combines together. These are all just things that you can use to make your caves or dungeons appear more natural with calcium-like deposits. There are 6 different ones of these in total in this package. They look like similar molds though, so there's actually 2 times 3 molds. This one's got a little bit of a bend to it. But here's the real fun thing in this premium set. Ooh, it's got some heft to it. Do you see it? This Elder Brain is gross. This is what is in charge of a Mind Flayer. These are the things that rule a Mind Flayer colony, and it is gross. I love how shiny it is. The glossy paint works really well, and it's pretty gross. I love it though. So yeah, this is a premium set that is available, I believe, today, this week. You can get it in game stores. This is everything that is within it. It's stalagmite. I was doing it wrong. The stalagmite, double, a pillar, that type of thing. I love all types of miniature type stuff, and I even love that there's like a little pool. You can see where the little crap. What are they called? The someone in there knows the things that are in the pool that have the ceramorphosis. You know, the thing that they. I need to go watch some Lori Should Know so I know exactly what these terms are. It's happening. Cranium rats. Yeah, no, not cranium rats, Braceling, but close. And I'm just going to let you guys know I am resisting the urge to pick my nose with this thing right here. For you. I'm doing that for you. That's a favor from me to you, even though I really want to do it, and it's gross, but I like doing it. So, cool. Check it out if you can in game stores and let me know how it goes. The last thing I want to show you is for all of you mug enthusiasts out there. Thank you for everyone who's telling me to do it. I'm gonna guess the yeah. All right, exactly. All right, so I'm not exactly sure where this is available. So I'm just gonna kind of tease it for you and then let you guys figure it out. But check this out. It is a mug that has dragon scales on it and a dragon for a handle right here. Matches the coloring of my sweatshirt as well as the D&D news thing up here. Man, I know I want to be sipping from this thing. I'll be double fisting now. Man, check that out. I love this. It's got a nice kind of ring to it. Like I said, I'm not sure exactly where this is going to be available, but you can try to look for it. It's from the Just Funky, so try to look at justfunky.com. That might be a good place to start if you can buy it direct. Otherwise, you might see it at a few other retailers out there. Again, the person who does all the stuff for our licensing isn't here, so I couldn't pester her for that information. But I will be showing off more of these in the weeks to come, or the same one, and give you more information then. But I just want to give you that little tease out there. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for being here for D&D News. I love hanging out with you every week. I'll be back next week at 3 p.m. Pacific time on Tuesdays to give you the lowdown on what's happening in the world of Dungeons & Dragons. We did not record a Dragon Talk last week. I was sick. Shelly was sick. We just couldn't do it. We're going to do a special session tomorrow. It won't be streamed, but we will be back this week with... Oh, man, now I want to make sure I tell you who I'm going to be interviewing. I don't want to get it wrong. We're going to be live streaming on Friday at 12 noon. There's no spoilers and swag this week, so you won't be able to check that out. We might do another one. Yes, we'll be talking to Daniel Kwan. Oh, I'm so excited. He runs the Asians Represent podcast. He was recently involved in the podcast Into Avernus, and I can't wait to talk to him about what it's like running all types of Dungeons & Dragons from afar. So check that out if you can. I'm going to sign off now. I'm Greg Tito. Make sure you give me a follow on Twitter. I'm getting it for primed for the right moment. Maybe I could just...